If you could only download one golf app to improve your golf and lower your handicap, then I would say that this would definitely be it. Right, in this video, I am going to tell you all about the app and all of its benefits and how it can help your game. I'm going to tell you about an incredible golf psychology series that we've got coming very soon on the channel, and we've got an interview with one of the finest minds in golf psychology who's worked with 6 major champions. So, what is the app, I hear you ask? The app is called Mind Caddie. It's a golf psychology app. Now, I know that most of you come to my channel for golf psychology advice. It's what my channel is most known for. And I give you a lot of great golf psychology advice based on everything that I've learned over the years as a good player and all the books I've read. But Mind Caddie takes this to the next level. Mind Caddie is the brainchild of Carl Morris, who is one of the greatest minds in golf psychology, has worked with 6 major champions and hundreds of PGA Tour golfers. Now, as I mentioned before, we have a golf psychology sessions series coming where I have spent a day filming with Carl, and we have got some amazing content coming for you as part of that series. But what Mind Caddie does, just think about this for a second, it gives you the opportunity to get golf psychology advice that will help you improve your game and lower your handicap from a golf psychology coach who works with the best players in the world. That kind of access is not possible to us amateur golfers, but through the Mind Caddie app, you can get that advice right now. Just wanted to cut in here and say to stay to the end of this video to find out about an offer that will give you access to the Mind Caddie app free of charge to test it out. So I'm back at home, and this is where you're going to primarily use this app. This is not an app that you use out on the golf course, but it's an app that's going to give you some amazing tools to use on the golf course to improve your golf. So you start off with this open screen, you click on the continue, and then that opens up the app. You get a weekly streak, so it's telling you, how many weeks consecutively that you've been using the app. I've been using it last week. I had a little break before that because I was away working for a week where I didn't use it. And then within here, along the bottom, you've got lessons, programs, score, journal, and stats. Okay, so we'll start with lessons first. So basically within here, there is an amazing amount of lessons for you to start listening to some amazing psychology advice. Now, people who've come to my channel, I'm sure, or I would hope, would like to think that they know that I've got a very much above average understanding of golf psychology for an amateur golfer. But I have learned so much on this app, and I learn something new every single time I go on it. So I know that everyone who uses this app is going to find some amazing, insightful stuff for their golf. So let's just start here. So at the top here, we've got the power of gratitude, and let's just click on that. The power of gratitude and mindfulness, and then you've got something there to listen to from Carl. Exercising your current golfing. Exercising your current golfing story. So there's all kinds of things there that will help you out. But then you get to this start here, and then you would do these in chronological order. So what is your golfing story? That's actually a very interesting thing to listen to, because that's quite important that you have an understanding of what your story is, because storylines can be incredibly destructive to your golf game. So that's a really important one. This one here, the thinker and the prover. I think it's worth the subscription alone just for you to listen to that 6-7 minute monologue. It's absolutely incredible. It'll just explain to you in the way that your mind tries to destroy your golf game. That's a phenomenal one. That I listened to that and I was just like, wow, yeah, that's me. I do that. So there's quite a few there to look at. Then you've got before you play. There's a load of ones to listen to there. Then there's during the game. They're obviously things that you can try and implement on the golf course. And then there's after you play. It's actually quite important with how you process your day's events. Will help you take the positives from what you did out on the golf course, which is quite important, but then also understanding, you know, things you need to take note of to improve as well. So, you know, you've got stuff here that's all before you play, during the game, and after you play. And then even in between, you know, in between shots, that's something that you don't think about. That is something that you need to think about. It's very important, because actually, you know, within a round of golf, there's only about 5% of the day is actually spent hitting golf shots. The rest of it is between shots. So there's some amazing stuff there to listen to. There's a Mind Caddie podcast you can listen to. There's a blog you can read. Then there's something on mindfulness. That's great. That's just about you. You know, and these are things that you can use in life. There's life lessons on this app. It's not just about golf lessons. And then there's some amazing stories from the tour with some players that Carl's worked with over the years, and is currently still working with. He's worked with 6 major champions in the past, and you know, hundreds of PGA Tour pros. And then there's something there about Carl. You can find out more about him. And then there's how to use the Mind Caddie. If you then go into programs, you then have a load of stuff here. A fundamentals program. If we click on that, it opens up a whole load of more amazing things that you can listen to. And these, I guarantee every time you listen to one of these, you will just find it so insightful, and you will find it so applicable to you and how you react and play and how your mind works on the golf course. You know, how to see the game differently, great shot program, training acceptance, very important in golf psychology. Ultimate player, the skill program, breakthrough course, players program. Now if we click on the players program, again, there's a whole host of, you know, a whole sort of series of stuff to listen to just on that one subject. The art of transformation through golf and persistence, the revolutionary impact of neutral thinking on your golf game and life. There's some phenomenal stuff here, trust me. And, you know, there's new stuff coming onto the app all the time, which is amazing. So, you know, the subscription, I really do think that the lifetime subscription is worth looking into. To just know that for us forever and a day, you're going to keep getting this amazing content coming through. So, you know, there's a load of programs there. Off-season training, that's a very important one for the winter. Some great stuff there. Your scorecard. So again, talking about, you know, let's go to a mental scorecard. There's actually ways here to grade yourself, and you can keep a score on there. I've not actually started that yet. A journal. So again, we talk about this in one of the golf psychology session videos we've got coming up shortly, about how Carl thinks it's very important to keep a journal, and there are a load of hosts of things here that you can use this tool to make a journal, and also how to understand how a journal can help you with your golf game. And then at the end, you've got your stats, which is your performance. So as you go through each program, you'll get stats, and then you'll know exactly the progress. Whether you've still got some programs to finish, some that you haven't done yet, all that kind of stuff. So honestly, on here, there is some absolutely phenomenal stuff to improve your mental game on the golf course. This app is one of the best things that I've ever come across for people to start to understand a part of the game that is totally ignored by amateur golfers, and they don't realize the power of being mentally strong on the golf course and what a difference that can make. As I've always said in my golf psychology videos, it doesn't matter what your handicap is, everyone can think better on the golf course. This is not depicted by your skill of swinging a club and hitting a ball. This is about maximizing your potential, whatever it is. And this app is going to allow you to maximize your potential if you start to really tap into all of this amazing advice from one of the best golf psychology coaches in the world. So there is the Mind Caddie app. I could not recommend more highly that you think about accessing and subscribing to this app. Ultimately, it's going to help you play better golf. It's going to help you think better on the golf course, and it's going to lower your handicap. Just think about, how are you ever going to get the chance to access the advice from someone of Carl's expertise, who's worked at the very top of the game with major champions and top professionals from all over the world? That opportunity will never come along, but through the Mind Caddie, you can start accessing that kind of advice right now. Okay, we're going to shift now slightly to an interview that I did with Carl on the day that we did some filming. The product of that filming is we have an amazing golf psychology series coming called the Golf Psychology Sessions. It's 8 episodes long. The first one will be released a week after this video, and I can't recommend more highly that you watch that. There's some absolutely phenomenal advice within those 8 episodes. But right now, let's go to the interview with Carl so you get to know a little bit more about the man and what he's about. We're down here at Delamere Forest. I'm here with Carl Morris. We've got a fantastic series coming up called the Psychology Sessions, where we're going to cover all manner of amazing subjects that can help you with your golf. For those who don't know, Carl's worked with, was it 6 major champions?
Yeah, I've been lucky over the years.
Hundreds of PGA Tour, European Tour pros.
Yeah.
So to get advice from Carl is his time is very, very hard to get hold of, and there's a cost that comes to someone that is at that kind of level. But he's kind of going to speak to us today. But the thing we're going to talk about is his new app. Well, how long has it been now?
It seems new, but it's been out a few years. Yeah. But we've been refining it over the last couple of years. The Mind Caddie.
Yeah. So the Mind Caddie app, I got switched onto it about 6 months ago. I feel that I've got a good knowledge of golf psychology. I am constantly learning new stuff through the app. There's stuff there for before the round, during the round, after the round. There's all kinds of activities that you can do to help you think better on the golf course. It's absolutely phenomenal. I could not recommend more. If you want to improve your mental game, you need to subscribe to this app because it's got some absolutely golden advice in there. So, how did you come up with the idea? Because it's the only one of its kind.
It is. It is. It was. I suppose. I mean, I've been. Over the years, I've been fortunate to work with some good players, as you mentioned, and there was a kind of bank of knowledge that had accrued over the years. Seen a lot of coaches and worked with a lot of different people, and I felt, Craig, it was that I've got to the time of life where I wanted to just put all that together and make it accessible for everybody, really. Because, as you know, because of what you do with your channel, I genuinely think that for most golfers, working on this side of the game is just the biggest opportunity ever. It's a no-brainer, no pun intended. It's you're not going to get worse by working on this stuff. But you could dramatically transform your experience. So, the Mind Caddie really is just a bunch of practical things that you can do to work on your mental game, but also ways that you can measure that you're getting better. And then, in the off season, really keen on the idea of training better as well. If you're watching this and you think about next winter, you could perhaps do what you've always done and just hit balls at the range, or really go on a program where you're training better and getting the most use out of your time, and that's a key element of the program.
What came across to me when I first started using it was, if I want to improve my golf swing, I can go to any number of golf professionals that are in my area, and there's some good ones. Everyone will have a good golf professional near them they can go to, and one that they trust. If you want to go and get some expert golf psychology advice, there is nowhere to go. There isn't one at every golf club, and there's certainly not one of your calibre who's worked with the sort of players you play with. So to be able to access this app it's through a subscription, but it's for the money, for the quality of the advice you're getting, it's the best value you could ever imagine to improve your golf. It's something that it's you're not going to be able to go and get that advice readily, whereas this app gives you this kind of advice straight away.
I appreciate you saying that. We're pretty proud of it, really. It's my sort of starting this 30 years ago. I struggled with the game, and it's a personal journey as well. But I always felt psychology was shrouded in mystery and technical information and things like that. I've always tried to make it practical and applicable. And we've done some work together, and I'd hope you'd agree that the tools in it are practical. It's things that you can do. It's not just all theory. It's not just mumbo jumbo. It's things that you can take action on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's times where I think that I've sort of like got to the end of the envelope in my learning of golf psychology, and it's a ridiculous thought because you never stop learning.
No.
But there's so many times that I've been concentrating recently on the during part of it, so during the round. I don't want to give too much away, but the one that absolutely resonated with me was the thinker and the prover. We've talked about it a little bit in some of the sessions we've done today. I mean, I think that 6-minute monologue from yourself is worth the subscription alone, because that encapsulates almost every amateur golfer that plays at the moment. I don't care what the handicap is.
Yeah, it's so true. This idea of that in our brain we've got a thinker and a prover, and basically what the thinker thinks, the prover aims to prove. So an obvious example would be if I think I'm poor on the greens, every time I walk on the green and have a 3-putt or miss a short put, the prover latches onto that as a way of supporting that belief. And if you don't change that relationship to the thinker and prover, if you don't change the story, you can have all the lessons in the world, you can work on all the technique, get a new putter, the story will bind you into the past. So the key thing that we look at in the app is how do you start to change that story? How do you start to create a narrative that supports you rather than gets in the way?
So let's talk a little bit about the app. So you log in and you also get a weekly streak, so it lets you know that you've been continually watching the new content and stuff. Just talk a little bit through, don't go into too much because we want people to go on there and find it out, but what the levels are of the different layers of the app that can help the golfers.
You do that to begin with, log in and then have a look around, but we've got an initial program, the fundamentals program, which is a good starting point, which takes you through the thinker and prover. So you can do that program first, and the good thing is you do it in your own pace. So some people binge and they'll go all the way through, but I think for me recommending it would be you start with a program like the fundamentals and you work through it set by set, and you just gradually build up these resources. And then what you'll find is that you can feed off into other things. You can feed off specifically into putting, or you can feed off specifically into better training, better practice, things like that. So you start with the fundamentals and then you can personalize it.
And there's stuff on there about some of the pros you work with, Darren Clark and Laurie Cantor. And
there's some nice stories in there.
I mean, I think when I listen to those, it's refreshing because you tend to think that the pro golfers don't deal with the same demons that we do, but they do. They absolutely do. But they're just a lot more equipped with their technical and their skill to actually hit a golf ball, in the place where they're looking and trying to get it to.
If there's one thing,
their mind is still something that they're trying to control.
I think when we watch golf on TV, we're almost given the impression that these great players are sailing around the golf course in a Buddha-like state and nothing's bothering them. Couldn't be further from the truth.
No.
Having had first-hand experience of it for 30 years, they've got as much craziness going on in their heads, perhaps even more than the rest of us at times. So I think what you start to look at with this, if we strip it all down, if you want to get better at golf, two things: you've got to develop some skills. And you've got to work on your game. You can't just sit under a tree and imagine that you're Tiger Woods. You've got to develop some skills, but then the big one, and this is hopefully where the app comes in, you're going to be able to access those skills. And a lot of people develop skill, so they're good on the range, but they don't access it on the golf course. Some of the things that we talked about in the sessions that we've had was very much about, you're a good player, you have a lot of experience in the game, you've got ability, but in certain areas of the game, you weren't accessing those skills.
Absolutely. No, absolutely, It's like I say, you never stop learning. I've found at least 5 or 6 points within the app that were things that as soon as I listened to it, I was like, that's me.
Right.
That is me. Everyone who goes into the app and they listen to these, they'll identify with them. Maybe not all of them, but certainly there'll be some there that they'll identify with. And it's something that's holding them back. Everyone's potential as a golfer is different. A scratch golfer, pros, is here, and a scratch golfer's here, and a 15 handicap is here. But if you're not thinking right on the golf course in the right way and maximising, you're never going to maximise your potential, whether you're a 15 handicapper, a scratch golfer, or a pro golfer.
And I think the other thing tying in with that, Craig, is that we think that using the app really allows your relationship to the game, because a lot of people have this experience, they start playing the game and the relationship turns sour, doesn't it? Because they start to struggle and they're not enjoying it. And it's, ultimately, look at us, we're sat here at Delamere, it's a beautiful day, we've been out and done some work on the course. It's a precious game. And and it's, the one thing's for certain, we've all got a limited number of rounds in us. That's the only certainty. And you want to enjoy it, and I think, it's easy to fall into some of these traps, but if your relationship with the game gets better and you're getting out there and you ultimately, if the golf course is occurring to your brain as a place of opportunity, you'll release your capabilities.
Yeah.
For most people, golf ends up being, the brain perceives it as threat.
Yeah.
And that sounds crazy, but it does.
It's true.
And if there's threat, then this creates tension. It's going to affect your movement pattern. So, you know, we do firmly believe it's a way of liberating your capabilities.
Yeah. It is an absolutely amazing tool that I would advise everyone to start to plug into. So go into the description for this video, there's a link, and there's also an offer as well that you can take advantage of. It's an amazing opportunity for you to get golf psychology advice from a golf psychology instructor who's worked at the very, very top of the game. And just think about that for a second. How are you ever going to be able to get that opportunity? Well, Mind Caddie gives you that opportunity. So go and download it, have a look. I promise you, you will not regret it.